One of our favorite local musicians, Dave Holodiloff, with Drowsy Maggie. Some more Irish tunes for you on this St. Paddy's Day. Jeff White with you on the Locals radio station for the Monterey Bay, KRML. It is time for Meals and Feels, brought to you by Meals on Wheels of the Monterey Peninsula. I've got a married couple in today. I've got Eric and Katia here with us. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having us.
Oh, our pleasure. Well, I'd love to hear how you guys got involved with Meals on Wheels.
Sure. Well, I was introduced by my wife, Katia, actually. And as you may know, Monterey Meals on Wheels has been voted the number one place to volunteer. So, in fact, they have a huge banner in front of their
As
offices.
they should.
As
yes.
they should. And so it's been about 2 years now that I've been delivering meals. And the cool thing is, for me anyway, is that they gave me a route in Marina. It's called MAR 7, Marina Route number 7. And it's a group of veterans. And so not only do I feel I'm feeding the hungry, but I'm helping a vet. And that really warms my heart. And these vets, a lot of them are broken, between the PTSD and the anxiety and the depression issues. So we act as not only delivering a meal, but also a welfare, kind of a safety check. And because a lot of these guys are shut-ins, they really don't get a lot of interaction with people. And so our delivering our meal and knocking at their door is, for a lot of them, the only interaction they get with people, period, all day long. So it's just such a pleasure to make a difference in the community. And one story I wanted to share with you was when I was delivering a meal just last Wednesday, one of the guys said, you've been taking care of me, Eric, for like 2 years now, and I want to give you something. And he gave me this Army hat. And it's just a beat up old Army hat, but it's little gestures like that mean the world to me. And another story that I wanted to share is they had a gentleman who, on his bin, it said no apple. And I'm like, God, these guys are getting kind of picky, and I'm like, they're getting a free meal, for God's sake. But then when I got back to Meals on Wheels, I mentioned something to Gerald or another driver, and they said, Eric, I know the gentleman you're referring to, and the reason why I get a little choked up, the reason why he has requested no apple is because he has no teeth. And so it just goes to show you, don't ever make assumptions, because if you make assumptions, they're probably wrong. And I'm still learning every day. I'm out there helping these people, and they're teaching me more about life than I'm probably imparting on them.
I always love when I get to fill in for Jasmine on Tuesdays for this, because everybody has an idea what Meals on Wheels is or what they do. And that first assessment is right. A lot of folks get really healthy meals that they normally wouldn't. And that's a big deal. Sustenance is, one of those primal things we all need. But it's these stories that I find is what makes it such an amazing organization. And you hit the nail on the head. It's not just about those who are being served. The act of serving teaches you so much. Yeah. And it's such a great organization that knows that they're giving something more than just a meal every time that you go out on one of those runs.
Yes. So the good news is the people that house them over in Fort Ord off of Imjin Parkway in Marina, they built them a beautiful new 3-story building. And whereas before I'd go down and I'd be delivering 2 or 3 meals per resident, now I just deliver to the building primarily. And of my 20 meals, about half of those meals are to the building. And they've even given me a little rolly cart so I can go door to door, and it makes my job a whole lot easier.
Well, that's amazing. Well, you mentioned how it's such a great place to volunteer, and I know that Meals on Wheels does a great job of taking care of volunteers like yourselves. And in fact, I believe there's going to be somewhat of a celebration for that.
There is.
Right?
Yeah, there's a volunteer appreciation dinner that they have. And the last one, I think people dressed up as superheroes in their favorite superhero costume. And because I'm 6'5" and a big boy, I usually dress up as Mr. Incredible.
That that totally tracks. That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, now that I see it, I'm not going to unsee it.
No, that, right? You can't unsee certain things. And I look good in spandex, too.
Oh, there we go. I'm going to take your wife's word for that.
To differ.
True wife form right there.
But speaking of the wife, we should have Katia tell her story, how she volunteers. She's not a driver, but she's doing something really special.
Well, thanks to Jasmine, who's not here today, I was offered to decorate for the Classique. And we both discussed what an honor that would be, and I've now done it for the past 2 years. Thanks to Gerald, I sound more professional than I actually am because he wrote my bio. I didn't even realize I needed that.
He's a pro.
He's a pro. So I'm a retired firefighter. I like to give to the community. I like to create, but I'm all about recycle, repurpose, and reuse. So not having attended the Classique, just hearing about it, my first year, I just did what I do, which is find something that exists already, and I decorate it with flowers and materials that are grown organically and found locally, and I made a tablescape. I was nervous because I just didn't know, but supposedly it was well received, right, Gerald?
I'm guessing so. I'm going to go out on a limb here.
Yeah, but I was invited back, so I was like, oh, that's great, because it's really rewarding. They honor the people who receive the meals. They honor the people who deliver the meals, but there's all the preparation for the meals and the cleanup after the fact, and there's so many people that create this, and that I'm a small part of it. The donors that give auction items, there's chefs that give of their time, and the attendees, the generous attendees, because it's not a inexpensive event to attend, but they come and they sponsor tables because in their own way they're supporting this community. And it's really heartwarming being new to Monterey since 2020 that it's such a big integral part of the community.
Agreed.
And I have done it 2 years in a row, and rumor has it I'm invited back for a third year. And if you want to drive, do it. If you want to cook, offer. If you want to attend, buy a ticket. But you really should make a difference and participate in this really community ride, because that's what I feel like. We're on a ride that's continuing to make a difference in those deserving lives that exist all around you.
Well, I really appreciate all that you two are doing. You're making a difference that's obviously changing yourselves as well as changing this community. And I'm glad that you guys are getting this big dinner, this appreciation here soon. So I know people that are hearing this, these are the real stories, and this is what happens when you do commit to your community. And this is a great one to do. So check out mowmp.org and find out how you can get involved. Thank you so much for coming in today. We really appreciate it.
It was such a pleasure, and thank you for having us again.
And I'm glad you nudged Katya. We were going to get you on.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Nice to meet you.
Our pleasure. That's Meals and Feels, brought to you by Meals on Wheels of the Monterey Peninsula. We do it every Tuesday at around 2:45. We'll take a look at your hot forecast here in a couple moments. Also got the latest from Metric coming up after a few words from some local folks who believe that local radio works here on KRML.